The U.S. Justice Department scored a major victory this week when a jury found Stuart Rhodes, the founder of the far-right Oath Keepers militia group, and Kelly Meggs, the leader of the Oath Keepers Florida chapter, guilty of the rare charge of seditious conspiracy, determining that the defendants plotted to use force to block Congress from certifying Joe Biden's 2020 election victory over Donald Trump. It's the most serious criminal offense yet leveled in connection with the January 6th insurrection, and marked the first time in nearly 3 decades that federal prosecutors won a conviction for seditious conspiracy. After the convictions, Attorney General Merrick Garland said the DOJ would press on with its efforts to investigate and prosecute those accused of participating in the Capitol riot.
The department will work tirelessly to hold accountable those responsible for crimes related to the attack on our democracy on January 6, 2021.
But the verdict was not a total win for the government. The same jury that convicted Rhodes acquitted 3 other defendants of the conspiracy charge, finding them guilty instead of lesser crimes. That shows just how difficult it can be to prosecute, according to Alan Rosenstein, associate professor of law at the University of Minnesota.
I don't think there's a big appetite at DOJ to use seditious conspiracy broadly. Both because it's not an easy charge to establish, and also because I think there's a recognition that the point of having such a serious charge as seditious conspiracy is that you use it sparingly. You use it to signal that this defendant was particularly bad, and that if you use it generally, you dilute its force, and also you risk some blowback if people view you as overreaching.
Seditious conspiracy is defined by U.S. law as attempting, quote, to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States. The charge is part of a statute that dates back to the U.S. Civil War of the 1860s. It carries a sentence of up to 20 years in prison. The last time a case was successfully brought was in 1995 against a Muslim cleric and some of his followers accused of planning bombings and assassinations in the U.S. After the verdicts this week, attorneys for Rhodes said they believe the government failed to fully make the case against their client.
We're disappointed with the guilty verdict. We feel like that we presented a case which showed through evidence and testimony that Mr. Rhodes did not commit the crime of seditious conspiracy. There was no evidence introduced to indicate that there was a plan to attack the Capitol.
This week's trial and outcome raises questions about how the Justice Department will fare in 2 more trials scheduled to begin in December involving defendants charged with seditious conspiracy. Those defendants include other members of the Oath Keepers, as well as members of another right-wing group, the Proud Boys.
Proud Boys!
Rosenstein said that while the top charge may be hard to prove, the DOJ has proven it can win over jurors, and that might weigh on defendants.
When a defendant is now thinking about, do I really want to roll the dice in front of a jury? Well, a jury just returned a guilty verdict on seditious conspiracy. Maybe I should take the plea deal.